Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And the other day I did a video on a paraphilic cross-dresser who calls himself a drag queen, who's doing a 70-stop tour where he wants to get very close to children in order to read to them, apparently. And he's been going to libraries and inviting woke parents to bring their vulnerable children to sit where he can get close to them. And outside, a lot of parents were complaining, saying it's inappropriate for someone with this particular fetish, wearing woman face, to be addressing children in such a manner. Well, the drag queens have come up with a wheeze to get around all this, shall we say, perceived hatred. They're not going to call themselves drag queens anymore, because that is contentious. So they're going to be calling themselves pantomime dames. But not in a good way, for as they say, it's to fool parents. So now we have these very weird mentally ill people who enjoy dressing up as women and who self-admittedly want to fool parents. I think it's time for their names to go on that register. But let's have a look at the article. So here we go. Drag queens touring UK reading stories to children should be called pantomime dames to fool potential protesters, library staff are told, after dozens of activists targeted story hour events. Let's just reread that, but this time in English. Paraphilic fetishists in woman face touring the UK determined to get close to children should be called pantomime dames in order to fool parents, library staff are told, after dozens of parents targeted quote story hour events. By story hour they mean events where grown men are determined to get close to other people's children for extended lengths of time on as many as 70 date tours. Why? Drag Queen Story Hour has seen protests accusing drag queens of CAB. CA. A Cheshire librarian has suggested calling queens pantomime dames instead. But they're not pantomime dames. Pantomime dames are actors on a stage, kept well away from children, and are figures of fun. They're not adult entertainers who normally tell raucous blue jokes and who dress inappropriately because of their fetishized paraphilial beliefs. Organiser Sab Samuel, someone who needs to definitely have every piece of tech he owns examined, said the story out is saving lives of LGBTP children. No, it's not saving the lives of children. He's not going around saving lives of children. He's going around pushing an agenda to vulnerable children, which will end up with them having probably very serious mental issues and likely increasing their incidence, shall we say, of self-ending. You've got to be careful what I say, YouTube algorithm and all. He says he receives constant abuse and threats online from anti-LGBTP plus trolls. I would rephrase that as he receives constant abuse and threats online from parents concerned that he keeps wanting to get close to their children. Library staff have been urged to call drag queens pantomime dames in order to confuse protesters. Parents. We want to confuse and trick parents so that these people, these weird mentally ill people, can get close to your children. So we're going to confuse the parents, make sure that, not right, is it? That's what they're saying. These lefties are saying this because you can guarantee every single librarian is a lefty because they're all working for the local council. Everyone who works for local council is left wing. They're all pushing it. They're all part of the union. And they want this pro-children agenda. Always with the children. Push the children. Now we're pushing the children. Well, we can't send them to Portland anymore. The Portland and Tavistock Trust is closed. We can't send them down that line. Let's just push them onto the transvestites here. Let's push them onto the drag queens. Because they've got to get those children completely messed up in the head. Because they just want to abuse them constantly. Because they want to make sure they can get that P into the LGBT. Anyway, more than 100 librarians attended a webinar, I bet they did, on controversial events. Controversial events, yeah. The loading up of children into a paraphiliac's delight and confusing parents and lying to parents about it. Yeah, that's controversial. You're right. Which was organised by the National Body of Libraries Connected. Do you know, the funny thing is, librarians, wonderful lot, all they ever do is work for the council and join unions. There's no such thing as a private sector librarian. Why? Because the private sector doesn't have a need for librarians. And in fact, we don't have a need for librarians. We've got the internet. Just put every book online and close all the libraries and get rid of all the lefty librarians and just let children go and look up whatever book they want. More than 100 librarians attended the webinar, which they organised by the National Body of Libraries Connected, and heard one solution they should consider is rebranding the sessions as being led by dames rather than drag queens. Yeah, in other words, they are saying, let's lie to the parents. We want parents to trust us, so we're going to lie to them. How's that going to work out? Anyway, I'm not going to go through the whole lot. I just wanted to highlight that this is where they're going. This is where the left is going with your children. It's now telling them, lie to parents, confuse the parents, tell the parents one thing when actually it's something else. Because we don't want parents to know what's going on when we put them in a room with people like that. Groomer, yeah. And that's what these people are. And that's what librarians are. They're fellow travellers. That is a weird man with a mental issue who just wants to get close to children and has booked a 70 event tour so he can get close to children all up and down the country. I tell you what, they need to be on that register and they need to be watched and inspected. They're dangerous lot. Anyway, I'm going to come up. You have to wonder why people like this are constantly after access to children. Be it in schools, going to libraries, whatever. 70 date tour. 70 times he wants to get close to children. Normal people don't do that. But then these people aren't normal, are they? They're degenerate, twisted, perverted. Paraphiliacs with an obsession. They have fetishized with the wearing of women's clothes and a bit of slap because woman face. And nobody wants to get close to children like that. No normal person. God, not even our own half the time. Let's be honest, hey folks. God, roll on bedtime when they were young. But these people do constantly, and they need to be investigated. They need to have everything examined. They need to be thoroughly vetted. And even then, when that's done, still keep them away from children. Keep them out of schools. Keep them out of libraries. Keep them away from vulnerable children. Because they push them down when they push the agenda. And they send them to a place that is very, very mentally unhealthy. And we see what happens. You've got that Tavistock Trust finally closing. Because of people like this, pushing children down a line and destroying lives. It's not his job to do this. It's the parents' job. Anyway, I shall stop now. If you like what you hear and see on the channel, please hit the subscribe button. Ring the bell for future outputs. Leave a like, leave a comment, and until next time, stay safe, stay well. Don't let people like that anywhere near your children. And goodbye.